Welcome to the 6th episode of the BestYou channel. My name is Mimi Vegaso. I'm an engineer in computer science, a designer, an entrepreneur, and among other things, I love biotech, biomedicine, and all those hacks that make us have a greater, longer, and safer life. And starting today, I want to say that I'll be continuing talking about inflammation in this episode, specifically about foods that give us inflammation, or specifically foods that will give us anti-inflammatory effects. Those are the foods that we need in a daily basis to contrast every toxin, every outside stressor, and every inhibitor that we can increment inside our bodies to give us those anti-inflammatory effects and let us breathe, live, and have a very healthy life and out of toxins, inflammation, and problems caused by free radicals, ROS, glycation, and among others that we will be talking in the future. But starting, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And if you want to be healthy and become the best you, just keep watching our episodes. And consistently, I will be talking about everything that we need to do in order to have active lives and being worry-free of everything that is damaging outside. As long as we know more, we will be able to contrast all those effects that give us problems in our body, and most of them cause us metabolic problems and diseases, which are the start of every other major disease, if we have heard previous episodes. And we will be talking about the future, about all of those also. So let me start saying that, yes, a lot of these things causes inflammation, as we said in the previous episode. And among all of those factors that are external, because yes, our body has a supply chain that we bring from our mouth, from our skin, from even our breathing. So there are mechanisms of supply in our body, and those mechanisms tend us to gravitate between inflammation or anti-inflammation. Unluckily, most of the time it's inflammation. So most of things nowadays, if we live in common areas like metropolis, big cities, even small places, but they are surrounded by industries and factories, we tend to have external factors that will give us inflammation, and recurrently inflammation that will give us diseases. So one number of studies consisting on inflammation not only start by inflammation per se, but if you relate, inflammation is very linked to many of our diseases, metabolic syndromes, all sorts of metabolic syndrome, CVDs, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes type 2, cancers, and so many other diseases, arthritis. All of them are causes or are linked with inflammation. And if we know we suffer any of those, we need to start acting in a multilateral way, let's put it that term, to contrast inflammation. So it's not only whatever your doctor has prescribed you. I will try to minimize that to become, if there is a prescription that you're having, and especially if there is a prescription that leads to heavy medication, I will try to put in my list as the last resource. So of course, keep your prescription if you have a medical doctor that is giving you this, but also investigate yourself, specifically on your type of inflammation and what are the other ways that you can help your body to liberate it from this problem. So if we put that in the bottom of the list, what's the number one thing that we should put first, and I think you already know, is the discussion of today's episode, is our foods. So many studies have shown us that foods have very calming anti-inflammatory effects if they are eaten in a daily basis. So that's a big hope for everybody around, because not only it will help us lower the levels of the markers of inflammation, like CPR, that's the reactive protein, but it will also give us a sense of release in our body. So as I mentioned in the previous episode, what happens when you eat that burger, that yes, you crave for it, you love it, and then I will explain why you crave for it, but okay, you enjoy your burger, but what happened? Then, yes, you feel the sugar, the calories, whatever, make you slow down. It's not only that, it's the inflammation your body is having, it's the way your body is interacting with those chemicals. Because let me repeat, any food that is semi-processed, breads that are processed, refined flours, meat that sometimes is semi-processed. Don't tell me your favorite burger is all natural, because it is. Probably you made it at home, but if it is bought in a restaurant, it's probably mixed with something else. Either way, only the olive oils that are being fried with already made it an inflammation factor of intake. So let's say, why you feel that bad after you eat something you love? Because it's giving you inflammation, as simple as that. And that inflammation goes everywhere your body is trying to manifest. So it could be in the gut area, intestinal area. It could be even on your breathing. Sometimes people associate and don't know how to associate, but sometimes they have breathing problems and have some sinuses. They think there are allergies. They think it's something, and sometimes it's just inflammation from your food. As long as you stop your inflammation, avoiding these foods, you try it, and you'll see you breathe better. Because why? Yes, sometimes the foods that cause inflammation also have these histaminic problems. So it's the same with the breathing, right? So it's correlated. So, and then again, everything has a parallelism in our bodies, a correlation. So we need to be pretty sure that what is causing it and how to avoid. So let's talk first about the foods that we need to avoid. And yes, that will need a lot of self-discipline. That will need your 21-day habit ritual, do your new habits, 21-day, mark it, starting by when, right? You start the day that you plan to start, you start, and you count 21 days, not eating what? Let's do the list. Okay, number one. And let's put Alice in Wonderland white one, right? Anything white, anything refined, white sugar, white flour, white bread, white cookies, white everything, white chocolate. That's not chocolate. I know you love it. That's not chocolate. White chocolate, forget. Um, Anything that is white, that is extra white, avoid it. Why? Because it probably contains some refinement. And what means refined? Refined is not like the clothes that you wear, or the way you speak. Refined foods are foods that in the base organic world, this is the food, correct? Let's think of whatever food. Okay, that's your food. When it's refined, they take everything out from it. Everything, almost everything nutritional. So those refined foods, they're not foods. They just have taste. They just have feeling. They have starch. They have something that our body doesn't need. They have something that is causing us inflammation. So let's forget everything white. Everything white in food is not good. It's giving an inflammation. So you see, unless it's coconut, and then there is always an exclusion. Coconut flour, coconut per se, whatever coconut is, okay, have it. It's very good. But I'm saying anything that you see is done white rice, forget it. Forget your white rice. Um, and but why? Why? It's the same reason. We have our body is able to read and to take unlikely some types of carbohydrates, and these carbs that our body takes, and it's very easy to take, are the simple ones. So when we give simple carbs to our body, it goes straight into our bloodstream. The insulin gets crazy, your glucose and blood levels spike. So you get retention of those glucose, covering your liver, making it a fatty liver. If not already, you have become insulin. Um, you have insulin problems, and you have glucose problems, and all of that is causing you not only to get fatty liver and metabolic syndrome, it's giving you inflammation if you haven't developed yet any of the other ones. So, and sometimes, as I told you before, the inflammation, you don't know it until the very end sometimes, because most of these damaging inflammations are not the ones when, like, you hit and you feel it, right? And you feel it in the day, so you do something about it because you felt it. Okay, you hit, you're able, you feel it, so you put some ketoprofen, some anti-inflammatory cream, and you're fine. You know, you concern, you know, you feel it, you touch it the next day and the next day until you don't feel anything else. You try to take some ibuprofen or some anti-inflammatory. You are aware of it. What's the problem when you are not aware? So many inflammations are low level, long lasting. So those are the ones that are big problems, because those cause us all these metabolic problems, cardiovascular diseases, whatsoever, many inflammations inside our organs. So, number one, foods to avoid: anything white, meaning anything refined. Anything refined, forget. Okay. Second, anything fried, Fried, fried. Anything fried, toast it. And if you can toast it, fry it with, okay, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, even avocado oil. Let's do these three oils if you really crave for something fried, like your fried eggs, right? And now there is something also correlated with eggs. Can you eat eggs if you are trying to avoid inflammation? And some studies say that eggs, especially with people with arthritis, eggs cause certain sort of inflammation, certain sort of swell. So if you already have arthritis, it swells the joints. Some people say if you suffer from joint pain and you eat eggs and you feel that you feel it, try and cut the eggs and let's see if you feel better. It might be true. Why? Because the yolks in the eggs, they have arachidonic acid that causes inflammation in joints. So that's the only problem per se that we could attribute to eggs, but overall eggs are one of the most healthiest. One of the healthiest food in the planet. Is full of amino acids. It contains levels of all salt. Your proteins are there. It's the only one thing that can give you almost everything if you are in a caloric restriction diet. So eggs are, for me, are a superfood. But if you suffer of joint pain, arthritis, and you feel that when you're eating eggs, you develop more problems, avoid it, because it probably, the arachidonic acid is giving you inflammation. Besides that, eggs are in my list of anti-inflammatory foods because they are full of everything. And once our body gets the nutrients that are necessary to build up our building blocks, and the whole body can act better. So you can give it an exclamation or a mark sign there, and just think, is eggs good for you or not? Let me know. But okay, other food that we need to avoid, and is between the white sugars, but sugars, brown sugar, cane sugar, fructose, okay, all those things that say syrup, toss them, toss them, toss them, toss them. Not even recycle bin, trash bin, toss them. Don't even give it to somebody else, toss them. Sugars are mostly inflammatory in all aspects, everywhere. Brain, arteries, organs, liver, kidney, you name it, stomach. So sugar is the big problem, plus vegetable oils, to cause inflammation in any food. So that's why we should avoid, number 3, all processed foods, all of them. All of them have or either some level of sugar, some level of sucralose, fructose, high corn syrup, sugar, corn syrup, or they have vegetable oils, and between those, some flour oil, canola oil, soy oil, and whatsoever oil. Any oil that is heat up, it's a problem. It causes inflammation. So that's why I recommend you, if you are gonna fry anything, you do it with oils like avocado oil, coconut oil, and extra virgin olive oil, and all of them have to be cold pressed. So read the label before you buy. Cold pressed, extra virgin, and you find a nice fried food that you're gonna love and it's gonna be good for you. And let me tell you also, extra olive oil can be used to pan fry, and is very stable. So to people that think it's only for salads, no, you can, it's very stable. So let's use it more often. Because why? Extra olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, is also very anti-inflammatory because of the amount of polyphenols and plant compounds that it possesses. So another food that we might avoid, and here it's gonna be a heat discussion, but meats, and especially processed meats, give us inflammation, especially red meat. So um, we know that we love our cows and they give us a lot of things. I love cheese. I'm guilty of loving cheese and loving milk. I'm very guilty of that. I could eat cheese, burrata, whatever, brie, whatever, gouda, whatever, every cheese, any day. I could eat just all day cheese and milk. I'm very milky. So I know some people are against milk. I'm not. I don't have lactose problems, but more than lactose problems, I don't have casein problems. And if you are prone to having milk problems, first think about the casein. So buy European milk or European butter or European cheese and see if it is giving you problems. If it's not, it's the casein, it's not the lactose, because most European cows are bred that are bred have casein 2, which is a type of protein that is not inflammatory as casein 1, which is the one that is most common in breeds of cows in America, casein 1. So before you thinking you have a lactose problem, if it's not tested, you might have a casein problem. So try with European stuff. I'm not promoting no brands, but if you try and you feel that you don't have that lactose intolerance, probably it's the casein. So if it's that, kudos, you can eat cheese and you can eat milk and go on. But talking back about meats, we know our body is very similar to the animals, correct? So we have muscles, we have proteins, we create through amino acids those proteins and whatsoever. The only thing is that red meats give certain inflammatory problems, and we're going to talk about IGF-1 soon in future episodes. But for now, let me tell you that there are some markers in our body. And you remember about epigenetics, that those markers that turn on and off? There are some markers that are turned on by meat. So if you really think you have inflammatory problems, and we most do, forget about red meats or especially processed meats like sausages, hot dogs, jerkies, whatever, because it also they are not only made with meats, they are made with certain chemicals plus a lot of sodium. Just see how much sodium content and sugar content and added sugar content there are on these meats. It's a lot. So that's if even if the meat is good, the sugar and the sodium is because it's too much. And I'm not okay. This is another episode, but I'm not against sodium, and we're gonna know a lot about that. But in this kind of foods, when it's processed and it's chemically graded, and when it's produced with extra sodium and extra sugar, these meats tend to cause a lot of inflammation, and that inflammation doesn't go away very fast. So the more you consume these processed meats, the more inflammation you're generating, and the less release you are giving your body to take the inflammation away. So please, if there is on all this whole list you are very keen to processed meats or red meat, try to change it for something else. At least don't eat it on a daily basis. It's not really good for your body, even if you don't notice it yet. Also, I want to say that, as I said, white flour and white rice, grains are a problem. And if you love grains, okay, eat some of your grains, but I'm telling you, grains are also causing inflammatory problems, especially refined grains. So if we're gonna go through grains, I would say try to exchange rice, or try to exchange white rice to organic whole grains, whole grain and rice as quinoa. We could do that. I'm not keen on grains, but if you're really into, and here is another factor that I would love you for you to try out, and I'll tell you right now before we go to where we're gonna go extend on it. But try to change, if you love rice, try to exchange rice for cauliflower rice. Cauliflower almost have no taste, so you can put some butter on it, put some basil on it, you can put olive oil on it, oregano, many herbs. I'm gonna talk about a lot about herbs, because herbs are like a gift from nature, and I love tons of herbs. So garlic, just eat cauliflower with garlic. Do a garlic sauce. It's amazing. You're gonna believe me. It's amazing, and it's so anti-inflammatory. That's change your rice for cauliflower rice. You can buy your cauliflower and just chop it very small. You even have those machines to do it, or buy it as a cauliflower rice. Buy it raw. Check on the labels that doesn't say any oil added, any sugar added. So the best is to do it yourself, but let me tell you, it's very fulfilling, and cauliflower is one of those cruciferous fruits that are number one in my list, in any list of nutrition, diets, and anti-problems, anti-diseases. What goes first? Broccoli and cauliflower. So those are my two number ones in any diet for any problem. And if we're talking now about inflammation, my number one tools, broccoli, cauliflower. Broccoli has a little more taste and a little more smell. If you used to steam it, you know what I'm talking about. Some people hate it. I have sisters that they hate it when I do this. But broccoli and cauliflower, the cruciferous foods that are gifts to humans, because they are very anti-inflammatory. We're going to talk more about their compounds and why, but change your rice for cauliflower, and you're doing yourself a favor, a big favor. Also, and we were talking about meat, how I love milk and I love cheese and I love all of that involved. But dairy sometimes is also very inflammatory, and it's true. And it's not only the lactose, because it's a type of sugar, but even if you do lactose free. And why? Because as I told you, we are very similar to animals, and animals also suffer of inflammation. Guess what, right? Any animal can also suffer of inflammation, and especially these animals that are being confined, and we are eating their foods. So if we eat from confined animals, any animal that is confined and that have certain dietary feed that is inflammatory, we're gonna have the same problems. And why milk and dairy butter causes supposedly inflammation? Well, there are some level of saturated fats, and saturated fats causes inflammation. So it's true, some part of it. And sometimes I try to avoid milk, so I just will drink my almond milk. I tried coconut milk. I'm not too happy about it. I don't like the flavor a lot, but I love coconut oil. So every time I want to eat something with coconut, I do coconut something, or I just eat it. It's very anti-inflammatory too, although it has also fats. But we will talk about fats, the good and the bad ones, and why people have very, very in their heads these myths about fats. Some fats are very good. Monounsaturated fats are very good. Natural fats are amazing and amazingly good. They even lower our levels of inflammation. So not all fats are wrong. But if you if you think there is giving you problems, if it probably is, so try to avoid it or change it. I wouldn't recommend soy milk because of we will talk about that, especially for a woman, for the phytoestrogens and the hormonal problems. So if you have hormonal problems, avoid soy milks. But we can replace with almond milk, correct? And that will be a great choice. So let's end with our no foods, our foods that give us inflammation and we should avoid at all times. Processed foods, processed meats, sausages, and whatsoever, bye-bye, unless you are making them yourself, correct? So you have the machine to make them and you are making them with natural meats, no preservatives, no sodium, no nothing, go ahead and send me some, because I love all natural. And then I love sausages. Yeah, I want to get a machine, like my dad had a machine and I never use it. I'm like so pissed I didn't bring it with me. But one day I will buy and make my own sausages, all natural, no preservatives, no sodium, no sugar, no nothing. Only herbs. If you can do your sausages or your patties, when you do patties, if you just do natural foods with certain, I will say up to 20% fat. I don't like low fat meats, and I will explain why in other episodes. But if you do a 20% of fat and herbs, and this meat will do, sausages will taste amazing and will be very good. But anyway, avoid, if you suffer of arthritis, inflammation on your joints, try avoiding eggs. If you feel better, okay, there is some problem with the eggs. If not, keep eating them. They're the healthiest foods on earth, apart from avocados and some cruciferous foods that we will talk, and we start talking about it. Avoid sugars, and that means, if I say sugar, that means 80% of your supermarket, if it's not 90 or 95%. And I'm not joking. Go through every aisle of your supermarket. Everything is sugar. Starting by kids, I mean, I'm just blown away, because if we love our children, why are we giving all these big cereals made full sugar? All your favorite cereals, toss them, because they just see the level of sugar they have is enormous, and you're feeding balls, literally big balls of sugar to your kids every morning. That's the worst time to eat sugar, and that's the worst for a child of that age. So all those kids with extra sugar in the morning, why do you think they are not paying attention to school? Why do you think they are diagnosed with ADHD? Why do you think it's 7 p.m. and they still jumping all crazy? I love kids, but the problem is not the kids, the problem is you. Kids have to run, have to play, have to enjoy, but at their levels of metabolism. And if you are changing their metabolism levels because you are giving them too much sugar, you're altering their body since very young age. How many obese kids you have nowadays in America? Tell me. And I've seen it in other countries too. Before 10 years, 15 years ago, it was just America you will see obese kids. Now you go to any other country and you see them. Why? Because everybody adopted the American diet. Everywhere there is American diet. Why? Because people stop cooking. People go to fast change. It's faster, it's cheaper, it's better flavor wise, right? If you don't know how to cook, anything's gonna taste better. So we are feeding our kids very damaging foods, starting by cereals. Avoid all cereals. And plus you put chocolate milk, which is it has so much sugar. If you want to give your kids chocolate milk, okay, your natural milks with less preservatives, the less the ingredients on your milk, the better, okay? So the less, the if you see almost nothing but milk, okay, that one. But if you see a lot of things that you don't even understand what it says, and sometimes it's just codes because it's numbers, avoid it, okay? But if you want to give them real cocoa, okay? Real cocoa, organic cocoa from cocoa beans. Don't give them hot chocolate mix. Hot chocolate mix is flowers that are not chocolate, it's flavored like chocolate mixed with sugar. And that's so inflammatory right there. Your kid is just 5 years old, 6 years old, 4 years old, and you're already giving him inflammation, her, him, X, all sorts of inflammation. So avoid, if they love hot cocoa, buy natural cocoa with no sugar. If you want to add sugar, monk fruit, stevia, coconut oil, cinnamon. I use a lot of cinnamon, and we're gonna have special episodes about all the herbs and species that I use and that you use and that they are the good ones. But if you give them and start, the palate of our kids can be refined to the good things in life. So if your kid, you never gave them soda, the first time they drink it, they're not gonna either become crazy or want it. They're just gonna, oh, it just tastes as so much sugar. Try it yourself. Stop for 5 days sugar. The next time you drink something with sugar, you buy an ice cream, you eat something that is sugary, it's gonna taste too much, because we can refine our palate and we can become better. And also another tip, and we're gonna talk, there is another episode for other thousands of episodes we need to do, but our gut microbiota, our microbiome inside our body tell us what to eat. So if you think you are the one craving for sugar, if you think you are the one craving for your ice cream or whatever, chocolate, you're not. It's your gut. It's the microbiome in your gut that is telling you what to eat. So when you have bad bacteria inside and is bigger than your good bacteria, what do you think they're craving? What do you think they're telling you to eat? Yes, they're telling you to eat sugar, they're telling you to eat fries, they're telling you to eat all the bad things that your body tries to avoid, giving inflammation. So the more that you have gut problems, meaning that you have bad bacteria in your gut, you're gonna crave more sugar. That's a matter of fact. I mean, you don't need studies for that, and there are studies, but I'm telling you, if your gut is flowered with bad bacteria, you're only gonna crave sugar and you're gonna have anxiety problems. Where do you think serotonin comes from? Where do you think we build serotonin? Yeah, the happiness, the whatever, right? Where it's not only our brain is almost 20%, is almost nothing what our brain produces of serotonin. Our serotonin is produced in our gut. So if you had bacteria there that is promoting you to eat sugar, and give you serotonin, cut it. We can build good bacteria, and we have for that prebiotics and probiotics. So a lot of good foods that give us good bacteria. We're gonna talk later, but let's surround it in kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, bunch of sauerkraut. Anything fermented is good for our bacteria to grow good bacteria, our gut, and for them crave less sugar and crave less inflammatory foods. So let's go to the good side, just to continue talking and developing what's good. We say anything. Okay, so let's make a short list just in case you think it's not. Yes, candies are a problem. They are inflammatory. Candies, cookies, any baked good, any rice, especially fried rice, all Chinese rice, wontons, yes, even sushi. So, and I love fish, and we're gonna go to the good side of the question, but try to avoid big fishes. Big fishes are full of mercury, so the smaller the fish you eat, unless it's salmon and wild-caught salmon, avoid big fishes. Swordfish, even tuna, they have a lot of mercury that also is not only a toxin in our body because we build it up as more as we consume it, also can give us inflammation. And there are ways to level up that level of mercury. And we're going to go and talk some electrolytes that will help us, but that will be in the future. By now, let's go to the foods that we need to eat to have everything lean and smooth inside, no inflammation, or try to reduce at most. And the number one food that I will say we need to eat, and I have two in my mind, right? But okay, let's go for the ones that most people would like to eat, and those are fatty fishes. Fatty fishes are full of omega-3. What is omega-3? Okay, we're gonna go on another whole episode about omegas, but we have certain level. Okay, the body per se, our society is giving us inflammation problems. Why? Because there are different types of omegas. We have 3, 6, and 9, but the difference is we have a major problem in our daily foods because most of them have omega-6 levels higher than omega-3. There are few foods that give us omega-3. So most of the foods, especially the foods that we talk that are a problem, the inflammatory problem, those foods are full of omega-6, and omega-6 is an inflammatory factor. So omega-6 gives us inflammation. Our current modern diet, and let's equate it to American diet, it gives us in proportions 25 times omega-6 and 1 time omega-3. So it's 25 higher the times of omega-6 that our body builds up, contrasted to omega-3. And we need at least 1:1, a ratio of 1:1 of omega-3 and omega-6. So if all these foods that you're eating give you 25 spike ratio of omega-6, how the hell you gonna eat omega-3? Let's start with our fatty fishes. So if you like big fish, a big chunk of fish, salmon. Salmon is the best fatty fish of the big ones. It has to be wild caught, please. No additives, no sugars, no smoke. Smoke it yourself if you want to, but the clearer, the simpler, the more organic your salmon is, and it has to say in the label while caught, if you haven't caught it yourself up in the cold waters. Please, it's full of omega-3, so that will give you that anti-inflammatory effect. Your joints are gonna feel so smooth, all your organs are gonna breathe so happily. They're gonna feel just, every time you eat omega-6 or anything of the bad foods, inflammatory foods that we said, your body feels really, it feels stuck, stiff. But if you give omega-3, it's like a lubricant. And so if you use lubricants and you know what it is, that's how your body feels inside when you give omega-3. Omega-3 is that lubricant that we all need inside. So you need to eat it. Salmon. I love small fishes. There is one fish, I will try to find the translation in English because I do love them. I take so much time trying to take all the spine out because they are very small, but those are my favorite small fishes. But here in America and around the world, we can all buy sardines, mackerel, herring. Please eat them all. Don't think because it's just a can and it is in the whatever section, like those things that you buy just to keep them when there's no light, when there are hurricanes. No, eat them in a daily basis. Eat clams, eat oysters, eat anything that is small and it comes from the sea and is natural wild caught. Eat them. I love, and I will tell you which of those seafoods are full of something I have every day. I cannot stop one day without having it, and that will be another episode. But anything that comes from the sea and is small, eat it and try to use it on a daily basis. Japanese people have for breakfast fish, and it's fresh fish, raw fish. So why can't you? It tastes amazing. When you acquire the taste of fish every day, you're gonna love it. Okay, don't eat it every day. 3 days a week is enough, is sufficient. Also, if you live in a certain area that you don't get much fish, or it's difficult for you, or gives you allergy, or any seafood gives you allergy, try having, please, your reserve of cod liver oil or certain omega-3 supplements. I'm going to talk about supplements in another time, but there are vegetarian supplements of omega-3, so made from algae. So you don't need to eat the fish if you are allergic to, but you need your omega-3, yes or yes. And also, if you try, if you like tuna, the canned tuna in water, not oil, unless it's extra virgin olive oil, and some brands do have them, is also, it has less levels of mercury, the tunas that are canned, because of the level of the size of the tuna and the way it's being acquired. It has lower levels of mercury than a big chunk of tuna, of course. So add them on your list. And along that way of my number ones to have anti-inflammatory foods. Yes, I talk about it already. I get so excited when I talk about it. I love broccoli, and I cannot live without broccoli. It's my life. I eat it every day. If I don't eat it, I feel like something's missing. Broccoli and cauliflower are my go guys forever. They are my best friends. They are my pals. They are the ones I chat with every day, send emails, nasty emails, joke emails. Those are my friends. Why? Because those are cruciferous, especially broccoli, full of sulforaphane. We're going to talk about sulforaphane compound in a little bit. They're full of polyphenols. Any cruciferous vegetable is good for uh, giving our levels of inflammatory markers down. So they are very anti-inflammatory, full of nutrients. They are like superfoods. They really are superfoods because in a small chunk of food, you eat a lot. Kale give us a lot, give us more iron than meat, and let's say calcium, arugula, all of them, they're very nutritious. So any cruciferous food are so good for anti-inflammation. I would say that with kale and spinach, we're going to talk about that, but try to steam them a little bit, cook them a little bit to eliminate certain something that we're going to talk in another episode. But overall, I love broccoli and cauliflower raw. I know it's very difficult for the mouth if you are not used to. You can steam them, but not more than 10 minutes, because then they lose everything that you warm up, lose any food that you warm, loses most of the times the level of nutrition that they give. So the more raw that you eat, the more nutritious something becomes to your body. There are also other foods that when you steam them, they take more of it, like tomatoes. If you steam them or fry them with olive oil, they pour more lycopene. So some are good, but overall, more foods that if you take them raw, they are better. If not, steam them because they're softer steaming them. Then we're gonna talk about something that everybody loves, but they're ingested in the wrong way. And what is it? And it's not white. It's not white chocolate because that's not chocolate. It's dark chocolate, chocolate per se, cocoa beans. Cocoa beans are one of the most, if it's not the most, antioxidant foods in the world. So dark chocolate is a number one thing to eat. It's full of antioxidants. It's so anti-inflammatory. It's so good for the skin also. And let me tell you, one trick to eat, and I do it all the time. I put it on my fruit breakfast. It's cocoa nibs. Cocoa nibs, or just buy the cocoa beans if you have them in your local grocery store, and then just there is a process. But let's say you buy the cocoa bean, you take out all the you peel them, and then you roast them, and then you eat them, and that's God's heaven. That's so good for your body, full of antioxidants, lowers your levels of inflammation. It's good for problems with people with problems with cardiovascular disease and so other. And okay, um, here I will say that I already mentioned, but olive oils are a must too. Um, Extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed. You can have tons of it, even alone, even as a spoon. You just drink it, and it will give you so many benefits. It's full of polyphenols. It's full of so many things. We're gonna do a special chapter on extra virgin olive oil, but pour it in anything, fried anything. If you wanna have something fried, fry with it, because olive oil will lower your levels of inflammation everywhere, even in the brain. So, people that eat a lot of extra virgin olive oil tend to not have Alzheimer's disease, tend to not have Parkinson, tend to not have neurodegenerative problems. And why? Ask them. Go and search Mediterranean diet. Most people that live on a Mediterranean diet live longer. So life extension right there. Extra virgin olive oil is a must. If you want to use it every day, please do. You have to. And use it with everything, anything, everywhere. Okay, I know this sounds stupid, let's say, but you can carry your extra virgin olive oil. Let's say if you go somewhere, I have these little glass bottles of everything. I have one of chia, I have one of curcumin, I have one of extra virgin olive oil, and I have one of coconut oil, and I have some others that I don't regularly bring with me, but at least chia and curcumin mixed with pepper, but we will tell about that later, and extra virgin olive oil are a must, because whenever you go out and you want to eat something, and if you pour just that, you're fine. Even if you ate something brown, you're fine. Like, that's like, okay, God forgives you. Like that you're seeing, okay, you talk to the priest now. That's your extra virgin olive oil, that's your curcumin, and let's go and jump to curcumin, because I can't stop eating curcumin or drinking curcumin any day of the day, unless you have medication that is for coagulatory problems. Eat curcumin. Have it. Turmeric. turmeric. Most people know it's turmeric. Let's talk strict. Turmeric. If you have turmeric on your kitchen, do it a priority. Put it where the salt is. Put it where anything that you eat every day is. Because why? Curcumin, which is the compound found in turmeric, is the most anti-inflammatory, anti-cancerous, anti-everything in the world. It's one of the number one things, and I have a number ones a lot, but if you really think you suffer of something, curcumin is your cure. Believe me, curcumin is magic. It's just everything that we want in just one little spice. So to give the most, and we'll talk about it, but you can put it on your rice. Okay, let's not do rice, forget. But put it on your cauliflower, and that's what I do. Most of my days, I eat broccoli with cauliflower and pour turmeric with pepper, with some mozzarella cheese, and sometimes oregano and extra virgin olive oil, and that's my main food every day. But let's say whatever you can eat, add curcumin with pepper, because the pepper gives the curcumin a rise in your body to concentration to explode. So it's 20 times more potent if we mix it with pepper. So mix your curcumin with pepper, and you're gonna have anti-inflammatory effects all over your body. Even your face is gonna look leaner, believe me. So if you suffer of a big face because of all the soda you drink and the sugars and the cookies, start with your curcumin. You're gonna see your face is gonna be leaner, believe me. And I think we're gonna wrap this episode. I will continue in the next episode with more foods because there are tons of them. But let me finish with one. Okay, I will do two, very small, and we're gonna keep talking about them in the next episode. So other of my number ones, and I think I will just gonna mention one, and then we're gonna talk about the fruits in the next episode, because yes, there are fruits that are anti-inflammatory, and I know that you might think it's banana. No, it's not banana. Please avoid bananas. Don't avoid them, but like they have a lot of sugar. Unless they're very green, don't eat them too often, because some people eat like 3 bananas a day. I'm like, no, please. It's not the potassium that you need. More potassium than 3 bananas. You need like 20 bananas to have a lot of potassium. It's too much sugar. But let's talk about the number one. My grandma says, and used to say since I'm a kid, since I always remember, if you don't want to eat your chicken, eat your avocado. It's the green meat. It's the green meat in the world. It's the green meat in the food. And it's true, avocado is as eggs, is the whole resource of a lot of things in one little thing. Avocado, which is a fruit, but we think it's not a fruit because of whatever. Avocado is one of the most nutritious and most healthy foods on earth. So whatever disease you suffer, eat your avocado, it will help you. Anyway, it's so anti-inflammatory, it's so good, it's so rich. You see how creamy it is? Okay, that creaminess translates into your body to softness, to smoothness. If your body feels stiff, eat your avocado. It's even good for inflammation on your skin. So if you have acne problems, you have skin problems, you have dermatitis, rosacea, whatever, eat avocado or do your avocado mask. It's so good for new skin generation, for skin that has no inflammation. So wherever you had inflammation on your skin, if you eat avocado or put some avocado mask, it will help you to generate new skin cells that are not inflamed, and that's amazing. Then as that does to the skin, it also does to our inner organs. So if there is another food that I would recommend of all my list, all to-go foods, it's avocado. Some people love guacamole. I'm not so keen to, but I know the lycopene of the tomato with the avocado, when you chop it and you start doing, and some garlic. I don't know if Mexicans put garlic, but I put garlic to anything, and that will be in another second episode. But well, third episode of inflammation, second episode of inflammation foods. If you mix the tomato that has lycopene with the avocado that has the tocopherols and polyphenols and whatsoever, it's very good too. It's very anti-inflammatory. But I would say every day, if you eat whatever of the foods that I told you in this video, you're gonna become less inflamed, you're gonna have less heart problems, less diseases, less metabolic syndrome problems. You will help your diabetes, your hypertension. You will help all your body, your brain. You will not suffer of Alzheimer if you consume all of this on a daily basis, mixing, of course. You don't need to do this daily, every day. I mean, daily, the same foods. You can balance. We're going to talk about other foods in the next episode. I just want you to be healthy and become the best you, and starting by your food, because if you are less inflamed and don't have inflammation problems inside you, you're going to become long, healthy and lasting. And that's what we want for you, to become the best you. I see you soon.